The window of opportunity opens, a familiar excuse appears, and the window closes. That project, that conversation, that skill you want to learn, always just out of reach. This isn't a character flaw. It's a biological pattern we can call the comfort trap. Your brain's ancient wiring for safety has become an obstacle to your growth. Here, as students of philosophy, we believe you can understand and rewire this instinct. And the escape plan starts now.
The invisible cage. What is the comfort trap?
So, what exactly is this comfort trap? On the surface, the comfort zone seems like a wonderful place. It's a psychological state where life feels familiar, easy, and predictable. It's low stress, and you're in control. It's the safety of the known. But here's the paradox we often study here. A comfort zone you never leave stops being a sanctuary and starts feeling like a cage. A cage whose bars are forged from our resistance to the unknown. While it promises safety, it delivers stagnation. It's a silent killer of potential, and it operates on a simple, insidious loop. The longer you stay, the harder it is to leave. Even worse, the cage itself can begin to shrink. Think about it. It often starts small. You skip one social event, you put off a new routine until next Monday. Each decision is minor and justifiable, and the relief you feel from avoiding that small discomfort is immediate. Your brain logs this transaction. Avoidance equals safety. And so, it suggests the same solution the next time. Slowly, your world begins to feel smaller. The career move that once seemed exciting now seems terrifying. The person you used to be, full of ambition, feels like a distant memory. You've become so comfortable that the mere thought of disrupting the routine sends a jolt of anxiety through your system. This is the stagnation cycle. It's like a 3-act play repeating on a loop. Act 1 is complacency. When things are easy, the urgency to grow evaporates. Why rock the boat when the waters are calm? The drive to excel diminishes because the perceived need for it is gone. You're coasting, and the problem with coasting is that you can only ever go downhill. Act 2 is the rising fear of the unknown. As you spend more time within your shrinking walls, everything outside of them starts to look more threatening. Your brain develops a worst-case scenario bias. When you think about a new challenge, your mind doesn't simulate the joy of success. It runs catastrophic failure scenarios. It's a protective mechanism that paints the world outside your cage as a dangerous, hostile place. Act 3 is a deep-seated resistance to change. By now, the status quo isn't just a habit, it's part of your identity. Any attempt to break free is perceived by your mind not as an opportunity, but as a direct threat. Your internal system sounds the alarm. It triggers procrastination, rationalization, and self-doubt, all designed to pull you back into the familiar. You start telling yourself stories. I'm not a public speaker. I'm too old to change. These aren't facts. They are the walls of the cage, and you've started to mistake them for the edges of the world. This psychological prison shows up in common forms of quiet desperation. The unfulfilling job, trading potential for the golden handcuffs of a stable salary. The relationship that has flatlined, where avoiding a fight leads to the slow death of intimacy. And perhaps most tragically, the someday dream. People convince themselves they'll start when they are ready, a mythical state that, inside the comfort trap, never arrives. The trap, then, is this downward spiral where the solution, avoiding discomfort, becomes the source of the problem. Every time you choose comfort over growth, your world gets smaller. The ultimate cost isn't just missed opportunities, it's the erosion of self-trust. Every broken promise to yourself sends a message to your subconscious. Your word means nothing. That is the true tragedy of the comfort trap. It slowly convinces you that you were never capable of your dreams in the first place.
The ancient blueprint. Why your brain demands comfort.
Now here's where it gets interesting. If the comfort trap is so destructive, Why are we all so susceptible to it? The answer, a truth we explore deeply in our studies, is both profound and simple. Your brain's oldest programming isn't built for your happiness. Its primary, non-negotiable goal is survival. You are walking around with a brain forged in an environment of scarcity and immediate physical danger. In that context, your brain developed core principles that were brilliantly effective. Principles that are now, in our modern world, the source of our self-sabotage. It's like running 21st century software, your ambitions, your dreams, on hardware that is hundreds of thousands of years old. Let's break down this ancient blueprint. There are 3 powerful forces working to keep you inside your comfort zone. First, the principle of homeostasis and energy conservation. Your brain is an energy miser. It's about 2% of your body weight, but burns a staggering 20% of your daily energy. It loves patterns and routines for one simple reason. They are energetically cheap. They run on autopilot. Anything new, however, is expensive. It requires the prefrontal cortex, the brain's CEO, to come online. This part of the brain burns through glucose like a V8 engine burns fuel. Your brain's default setting is to conserve energy. This isn't laziness, it's a survival strategy. Second, we have the powerful psychological bias of loss aversion. This principle states that for most people, the pain of losing something is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. Your brain is wired to prioritize not losing over winning. When you stand at the edge of your comfort zone, you're risking a loss of security and stability. And the fear of losing what you have, however imperfect, often screams louder than the hope for what you might gain. Loss aversion anchors us to the status quo. And third, there's the role of your brain's alarm system, the amygdala. This is your primal threat detector, triggering the fight, flight, or freeze response. Here's the critical piece of information. Your amygdala can't always tell the difference between a physical threat and a psychological one. The risk of starting a new business and failing, or publishing your work and being criticized, to the amygdala, these can all register as danger. That wave of anxiety is not a sign that you should stop. It is simply the feeling of your ancient survival mechanism activating. Let's add one more layer, the deceptive role of dopamine. Dopamine is more accurately the molecule of motivation and pursuit. Simply planning or fantasizing about a goal can release a small hit of dopamine. Thinking about the finished novel feels good, and your brain can get hooked on the fantasy. You get the chemical reward of accomplishment without doing the actual uncomfortable work. This dopamine trap can be a crucial component of the comfort trap, keeping you pacified with dreams instead of pushing you into action. When you put it all together, you see the perfection of the trap. Energy conservation makes you prefer the easy path. Loss aversion makes you terrified of risk. The amygdala hijacks your system with fear, and the dopamine trap can reward you for just thinking about change. Your brain isn't trying to make you fail. It's trying to keep you safe using an outdated playbook. But here is the empowering news. Rooted in the discovery of neuroplasticity, this is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new connections throughout your life. The saying in neuroscience is, neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you choose to do something uncomfortable, you are forcing your brain to build a new road. The discomfort is the biological effort of forging that new neural connection. It's hard work, but eventually, what was difficult becomes your new, expanded comfort zone. Breaking out isn't a metaphor, it's the literal process of rewiring your brain.
The Empowerment Playbook: How to Rewire Your Brain.
So, we've established that you are not lazy, but your brain is. Now for the most important part, turning knowledge into action. You can rewire this. The secret is to work with your brain's design. To be a clever engineer, not a brute force warrior. This is the Empowerment Playbook, a series of strategies grounded in psychology and neuroscience for dismantling the comfort trap. The foundational principle is this: we must reframe discomfort. You must learn to see it as a compass. When you feel that urge to procrastinate, You must learn to smile and say, "Ah, there it is. That means I'm pointed in the right direction." Discomfort is the feeling of growth, and you should be excited to experience it. With that reframe in mind, let's get tactical.
Strategy 1. The 2-minute rule. Make it too small often to fail.
Our first strategy bypasses the brain's threat detection. A massive leap is scary, so we take a step so small, so ridiculously non-threatening, that your brain's defense system doesn't even bother activating. This is the 2-minute rule. Scale down any new habit until it takes less than 2 minutes. Read more becomes read 1 page. Write a book becomes write 1 sentence. Run a marathon becomes put on my running shoes. This works because it shifts the focus from the overwhelming outcome to the laughably easy starting ritual. You're sneaking past the guard dog. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. You've overcome the single hardest part of any task, the inertia of starting. You are building the habit of showing up.
Strategy 2. Identity-based habits. Become the person.
This is a subtle but profound shift. Most people focus on outcome-based goals like, I want to write a novel. A far more powerful approach is to focus on identity. The goal becomes, I want to become a writer. Do you see the difference? It's a shift from having to being. The question changes from what do I want to achieve to who do I wish to become? Once you've defined that identity, you simply ask yourself, what would a writer do? The answer is usually a small, immediate action. A writer writes even when uninspired. Each time you perform one of these small actions, you are providing evidence to your brain that you are, in fact, that kind of person. This is a core practice for us, not faking it till you make it, but being it to become it.
Strategy 3. Strategic discomfort in the Yerkes-Dodson law.
Now it's time to find the sweet spot for growth. For that, we can turn to a foundational model in psychology, the Yerkes-Dodson law. It shows the relationship between arousal, think of it as stress or discomfort, and performance as an inverted U-shaped curve. When arousal is very low, performance is poor. You're bored. As arousal increases, performance improves. But if arousal becomes too high, performance plummets. You're overwhelmed. A little bit of discomfort is essential for peak performance. Your mission is to learn how to live at the peak of that curve by practicing strategic discomfort. This means intentionally introducing a manageable level of challenge. You build a discomfort ladder. Here's how it works. Pick an area where you want to grow. Then create a list of challenges, from least scary to most scary. If your goal is to overcome social anxiety, your ladder might look like this. 1. Ask a barista how their day is going. 2. Give a genuine compliment to a stranger. 3. Make small talk with someone in an elevator, all the way up to 10. Give a 5-minute presentation to a small group. You start at step 1, and you stay there until it becomes boring. Once it's easy, you've expanded your comfort zone. Then, you move to step 2. This method keeps you in a state of optimal challenge. Let me illustrate this. Consider a manager named David, a perfect example of the comfort trap. He felt stagnant in his stable job. His dream was to start his own consulting business, but the thought of losing his secure income was paralyzing. Loss aversion had him in a chokehold. Inspired by these philosophical ideas, David decided to try a new approach. He started with the 2-minute rule. His goal was spend 10 minutes every morning researching one potential client. Then, he adopted an identity-based habit. He asked, what does a successful consultant do? The answer, they network. This led him to his discomfort ladder for networking. 1. Connect with one new person on LinkedIn each week. 2. Ask one person for a 15-minute virtual coffee. This was terrifying at first. His amygdala was screaming, but the steps were small enough to manage. He was operating at the peak of his Yerkes-Dodson curve. A year after starting, he launched his consultancy as a small side project. 2 years after that first 2-minute action, David resigned from his job. He didn't leave because the fear was gone. He left because, through this systematic process, he had rewired his brain and built a new identity. He had escaped the trap. David's story shows this is a process of transformation, starting with one small choice. In the comments below, share one specific comfort zone you plan to break this week. Just one small step on your discomfort ladder. Here at New Acropolis, a school of philosophy with locations across the United States run entirely by volunteers, we believe that writing it down makes it real. You're making a promise to yourself and to a community of people who are also choosing to grow. Let's bring this all home. We've journeyed into the architecture of the mind and discovered a fundamental truth. Your brain is a survival machine, beautifully designed to create a powerful attraction to the familiar. This creates the comfort trap, an invisible cage where complacency breeds fear. But this is not your destiny. The core message here is one of profound empowerment. The very mechanism that builds the prison, neuroplasticity, is also the key that unlocks the door. Your brain is not fixed. It is a dynamic network shaped by your choices. The discomfort you feel when you push your boundaries is not a warning sign. It is the feeling of growth. The strategies we've discussed are practical tools for becoming the architect of your own mind. Your future is on the other side of your fear. The life you want is waiting on the other side of that wall of discomfort. The cage door has always been unlocked. The only question is whether you will have the courage to step through it. Stop waiting to feel ready. The fear won't go away. You don't need it to. Start now. Start small. Pick one thing from your discomfort ladder and do it today. Because your potential is not something to be found. It is something to be built, one uncomfortable step at a time. Start building. Start rewiring.